Hello.
Hi.
And welcome to the latest episode of The Peak and the Pit. I'm Jazz.
I'm Kat.
And that was a phone noise. Didn't everyone hear it? Happy hump day, guys. Hope you're all keeping well. It's Wednesday, which means we're only 2 days away from a weekend.
Woo!
It is Mental Health Awareness Week, if you hadn't guessed.
Yeah.
And we have lined up some incredible guests for you. We're only on day 3. Got 4 more days of all this loveliness.
Yeah, so today we've got Akeem Griffith. Akeem was in Big Brother in 2018. He's also a world record holder, which is absolutely amazing. And he speaks openly, quite oftenly about mental health. So he's definitely somebody, if you want to be inspired, follow. Today we're going to speak with Akeem. Let's go and see what he's got to say. So hi, Akeem. So what we normally do in our podcast is we ask all of the people that come on our podcast, what is their peak and pit of the week? So what is your peak and pit of the week?
I think my peak of the week is, it's very simple and cliche, but my peak of the week is basically, waking up every morning, knowing that my family are healthy and well. I get text messages off them. I'm waking up, with my partner every morning in our house. So it's just really the easy things in life, really. But my pit is of course not being able to see my family. I mean, I live in Kent now, so all my family live in Wales, and I've not seen them now for a year. So even though you can text, you can see them on FaceTime, not quite the same seeing them face to face. So that's been kind of my pit for the last 12 months, I would say.
I think that's where everyone's at, aren't they now? I think they're starting to ease slightly, so we can go and sit in gardens at the moment, which is quite nice. But
yeah.
when you're so far away, it's still not ideal, is it? So
no, but not long to go, hopefully.
No, fingers crossed, it all goes to plan. So our podcast is kind of based around like the link between fitness and positive mental health. How do you think fitness does help your mental health?
I think it helps it massively. I think one of the main things for anyone who's going through mental health is keeping the mind occupied, setting yourself goals and challenges, and almost getting that sense of achievement. Anyone who goes through mental health, and most people do, and it's one of them conditions that are not easily to identify. But I think fitness, keeping the mind occupied, eating healthily, it naturally does make you feel a better person, a sense of achievement. And I think fitness is so instrumental towards mental health. It almost, and encounters it out. And I think for me, without fitness in general, and I think with the gyms closing as well, I think it has had such an effect on people's mental health. So to answer your question, yeah, fitness is massive for mental health.
If you're having like a low moment or a bit of a rubbish day, do you go out and like go for a run or go to the gym? Is that what you would do to kind of counteract how you're feeling?
Yeah, it's almost to release that negative energy. It builds up throughout the day and you have to release it. And I think the best way to do that is exercise and fitness. You release all that unwanted energy naturally. And I think it's the best way to release it. There's no other way to release that energy that you don't want inside you. So I think, every day when I'm often feeling that energy, I just do a fitness session. I'll go for a couple of miles run and I feel so much more better.
Definitely.
So we know that you were on Big Brother, a reality TV show, and you did amazing, by the way. We absolutely loved you in it. Do you think that that being in a reality show can affect your mental health?
Absolutely. I mean, you're almost going into the unknown. You don't know what to expect. You get all these expectations, you get all these guarantees. And I think it does to a certain extent, because you're almost on a different planet. It's like going to Mars. You don't quite know what to expect. And I feel for anyone going on television, absolutely, if it's something you've always wanted to do, I always say go for what you set to do in life. But just be aware, do some research, understand, what the other side is really. Because often a lot of people enjoy the moment, but it's the aftermath, I feel, that people are not aware of. So for me, yeah, it can have a massive impact. because it's quite hard to talk to people who haven't been in that position. But when you do find people who have been on television and been in similar situations, it's very rewarding that they've been through what you've been through as well.
Definitely.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. I think it can go from kind of any show, can't it? You get thrown into the spotlight, into this huge show that's like known worldwide. And I think coming out of that, everyone's has such huge expectations. I'm an actress myself, so you'll go and do this big job, and then once that's over, that's done, that's put in a box, that's finished with, and you're like, oh, what do I do now? And that kind of, your own thoughts can run away with you massively. So I do think you've got this huge expectation, and sometimes it doesn't live up to it. Like, you're kind of just left there like, all right, thanks very much, see you later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've nailed
it. So what would be your top tips for people who are struggling with poor mental health?
I think the top tips, first of all, is just, first of all, you're not the only person who's going through this. Believe it or not, probably most people who you know, who you're friends with, are probably going through it. They're just not showing it. And I've always said mental health is probably the most, when you know someone's got a condition, it's quite easy to identify. So if someone has some form of disability, you can visually see that. But mental health is almost unrecognizable. You can't say, right, this is what this type of person looks like who has mental health. It can be absolutely anyone. We know that. My top tips, it works for me, is make sure you set yourself a to-do list. Every Monday morning, I'll wake up at 7 a.m. I'll have my cup of coffee, no sugar, and I'll set myself my list for each week. And every start of the year as well, I always set goals for the entire year. Where do I see myself in 12 months? And then every Monday, then I'll write down and say how much closer I am to that percentage-wise. A, it keeps the mind occupied, and B, you're setting yourself expectations. You've got something to achieve and work towards. If you don't have any expectations or anything to achieve or work towards, your mind is almost at a standstill, and it starts to overthink things then. And that's the worst thing that can happen, really. So setting yourself challenges keeps the mind fresh, keeps it occupied, keeps it active. And that's kind of my top tip, really. You have to keep the mind active, because if you don't, you will overthink things. What if I did that? And you don't ever want to look back, never look back. Like, everything in life happens for a reason. I'm a firm believer of that. If you asked me 2 years ago, would I be living in Kent right now, I would have laughed at you. But everything happens for a reason for me, and you should never look back on anything, because even any negative situations in life, they happen for a reason. So you can't change the past. But yeah, setting yourself a to-do list, a challenge, keeping yourself fresh and active is one of my top tips.
That sounds great. I wanted to ask one more question. You can ask it if you want or not. It's just that you are very passionate on your social media about mental health. What's the reason behind that?
Mostly it's a lot of my close friends and family have often reached out to me. People who I didn't even expect to have mental health. It was almost as a shock. It's like, wow, how? But I think me giving that positive energy to a lot of my close friends and family have almost encouraged them naturally to come and have a conversation with me. I've had close family members as well, and there's been times in my life when I've gone through similar situations, so I kind of know what they're going through, and it's so rewarding. Yes, it's very upsetting knowing that my friends and family are going through a difficult time, but at the same time, it's very rewarding knowing that they can rely on me, they can have a conversation with me, and it's so rewarding to know that you've helped build that person back up to the expectations they can achieve in life. So I think for me, I just want to try and make a change to people's lives, and really make them understand that they aren't the only people going through this. And I've said this several times in this podcast, most people who will probably be going through some mental health or form of it. So it's just keeping life positive, really, and making everyone aware that it's not just them going through it.
You said really good.
Yeah, and I think it's so great that you're using your platform for that. I think there's we need a lot more people like yourself who have a large following to be more positive about it and show that it is a normal, natural thing, and everyone may go through it at some point in their life. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you. I almost feel like a lot of people feel like they're failing in life if they admit it. If they admit they're going through this, but it's not. This kind of, embracing that you're admitting that you are going through this, and everyone else can, or most people can relate to it. So it's kind of flipping that negative to a positive, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Akeem. Where can everyone find you?
I'm often active on Twitter, so you can find me by putting Akeem Griffith 10. I'm on Instagram as well. Don't ask why I put 10, but I just like the number. Instagram, you can find me on @Akeem Griffiths 10. I'm also on Facebook as well. So I have 2 pages, Akeem Griffiths, and also a YouTube channel as well. So I am quite active. You can find me on them social media channels.
That's great.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you giving up your time. Thank you so much for joining us on Mental Health Awareness Week. If you haven't already, then please do get yourself to our Instagram page @thepeakandthepit_podcast, where you'll find we've got a lovely little giveaway. What have we got, Kat?
We've got a meal and drinks at Red's True Barbecue, and also a meal and drinks at Impossible Manchester. We've also got free cocktails at Smoke and Mirrors.
Can we win the giveaway?
I wish.
And do join us tomorrow, where we'll speak to another amazing guest with another incredible story. If you have found something we've spoken about to be triggering, then there is a 24/7 mental health tech support line in the UK. All you need to do is text SHOUT to 85258, and someone will be on hand to help you talk it through. I think that is exactly what we need to do. Sometimes you've just got to talk it through, haven't you, Kat?
Yeah, you do, absolutely. So do make sure that if you are struggling at the moment, reach out to someone, or reach out to some of the services that we've mentioned.
Yeah, there are some incredible services, and you will find a list of them on, I think, one of our first ever Instagram posts. We listed all the services in the UK, so do just go and check them out if you feel that you need to speak to someone. Join us tomorrow, guys.
Yes, and make sure you tune in tomorrow to find out who we're speaking to next.
Can't wait.